kind of addressed towards you, Mark, because he's looking kind of from an instructional standpoint. This is from Grant, and he wants to know what the difference is between a 5 handicap and what that person needs to do to become a scratch golfer. I assume that Grant is a 5 handicap and is trying to get down to that 0 number and is kind of trying to learn what might be those things that are different between him and somebody who can go out and call themselves a scratch.
Well, this is pretty easy. I wouldn't call it simple. And I can't describe the mechanics of it because every player is different. But I would say if you just wanted to give a person a recipe for doing this, number one, avoid big numbers. If you're going to make a mistake, make sure bogey is the worst you make. I'll reference the great philosopher Webb Simpson, who once said to me, he goes, I'm cool with a bogey or making one mistake. I don't want to make 2 mistakes in a row. So if you're in trouble, make sure bogey is the worst you're going to make. You can recover from that. When you start to make big numbers, that really cuts into your time to get back to par or better. Then secondly, it's not about birdie production. It really, really isn't. It's about making as many pars as you can, because oftentimes when you're going after birdies, you might be rash, aiming at certain hole locations. Then you make those soft bogeys where you've got pitching wedge in hand, you attack a stupid flag, and then you're kind of spending a shot where hit it on the green, take 2, get out there. You got 1 par on your way, because the reality of this is 18 fours adds up to 72. And then along those lines, I'll say this, and I used to preach this to my college team. I'm like, as a good golfer, not necessarily elite, but as a solid golfer, if you make 4s on the 5s and 3s on the 3s, you got the nucleus for a very, very good round. Now, not everyone's going to birdie all the par 5s, but let's say you pick off 2 on the 5s, and then you make 4 3s. You've got 8 holes, nearly half the round played 2 under. And then you just have to be somewhat pedestrian over the other 10 holes, and you're going to shoot around 73, 74, 72 most times you play. So avoid big numbers. Rash bogeys from the middle of the fairway are just a no-go. And then along those lines, recovery. And I'm going to catch heat for this because everyone's going to say, well, you've got to drive it longer and stuff. Yes, that helps. But if you're going to miss a target, and I'm going to quote another great golfer in Nick Price, who on my very podcast, in fact, it earned a chapter in my book. He's taken a number of young South African golfers under his wing. And to each and every one of them, he said, now Nick Price, just as a preamble or postscript to this, is comfortably one of the great ball strikers of all time, easily so. And he would say to them, he goes, 72 holes in a tournament. If I hit the ball really well, I'll hit kind of 15, 16 greens. If I'm kind of average, I'm going to hit like 12, 13. So he goes, over 4 rounds, you're missing from 8 to about 16 greens in regulation. He goes, so the ability to make saves on those holes, the ones where you miss the green in regulation, that's going to define who you are. And he said when he realized that is when he became a major champion and a world's #1 player. So avoid big numbers, avoid the rash bogey from the fairway, par the par 3s, 4 of them on the course, make the odd birdie on the 5s, and then just realize golf's a game of recovery and you're going to be well on your way.
Patrick, what is your handicap now? 2?
In the system.
Or am I not giving you enough credit?
I don't think you are based on the database that I'm in. Let me try to find it here.
Oh my goodness.
DSGA. It's a bit of a vanity handicap though.
That's okay. What is it?
I am a. Can you see
Put it closer to the camera? No.
0.8.
Wow, 0.8. So here we've got our scratch golfer here. There he is.
Or, wait,
Patrick
that kind of looks like 8.0 in the screen.
No, it's a 0.8. So Patrick, so you've experienced this this progression. What is it about your game specifically that you were able to kind of tighten up to shave those strokes?
Mark hit the nail on the head. I try to get past the par 3s and even par. I'm rarely pin seeking on any of those holes. If I can find 4 greens in regulation on those 4 holes, I am super, super happy. I got to get the damage done on the par 5s, the 4 par 5s. I agree with Mark where I'm trying to make birdie on all of them pretty much. But if you get 2 of them, that's a really good day, in my opinion. And then I'm trying to play the par 4s and even par also. So I've gotten a lot better inside 100 yards these past couple years, which helps with recovery as well. My putting isn't great. It's probably the one part of my game that really needs to improve. But with a wedge in hand, I feel super confident. I feel like I can get up and down kind of from anywhere. And to quote the great philosopher Webb Simpson, the one mistake on a hole is huge. You cannot compound mistakes, because that's when the big number creeps in. So really just echoing everything Mark said.
There you go. A lot of strategy, a lot of mental side, a lot of swallowing your pride. Just go make a bogey. Don't make a double.
I want to say this, Rick. It's quality allocation of practice time too. Because I would venture a guess, even a wager, that most golfers, when they go to the range and they have some practice time, they'll hit, if I'm lucky, a few wedges. They'll probably go to a 7-iron or some vanity club that makes them feel good, 7-8-iron, whatever. And then if I'm lucky, they might hit a fairway metal. But then it's just lash drivers. And you're going to hit 14 of those, and you're going to have, if you're a decent putter, have 30 putts around. So you're hitting more putts than you are drive shots. So allocate your practice time properly and go and work on that short game stuff. That's the important thing.
So Josh asked a very good question in the chat. So Mark, let's say I have an hour to practice. How should I break up my hour to get the most out of it? Obviously, it's not hitting drivers for 58 minutes.
No, I would spend a lot of time, for most golfers watching this, go to the range, hit a few, get the feel for your swing, then play from some uneven lies, play from some good lies, some poor lies. Don't rake up a ball all the time. So throw balls different places, move targets around the place for different wind angles and stuff like that. Keep yourself off balance. Do that for like 20 minutes, then go and do 20 minutes on the green, then go to 20 minutes around the green. There's basically 4 departments in the game, and you've hit a few drives there, you've hit a few irons, and then you basically log the rest of the practice time around and on the greens.